This guy, any good?
When I knew him, he was.
Hey guys, Kiwi here. Warning of spoilers for Breaking Bad, El Camino, and Better Call Saul to Season 6, Episode 12. In this video, I'll be breaking down and discussing the scene between Kim and Jesse. Like the video if you end up enjoying it, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad updates. With that being said, let's jump into the breakdown. So about 3/4 of the way through Episode 612 of Better Call Saul, we see a flashback to Kim and Saul signing their divorce papers. It's funny how since we're now in the 2010 Gene timeline, we're now calling the Breaking Bad scenes flashbacks, when beforehand, while we were predicting potential Breaking Bad scenes, we'd call them flash forwards due to still being in the 2004 Better Call Saul timeline, but I digress. So as Kim leaves, Saul demeans Francesca by calling her sweet cheeks, telling her to call in his next client. Saul calling Francesca this lines up with the way that we saw him treat her in Breaking Bad, such as trying to make an advance on her in his first ever episode during Breaking Bad Season 2, Episode 8.
Hey, Francesca, how about I follow you home?
No!
For safety!
What?
God, you are killing me with that booty.
Hey, Sweet Cheeks, who do we got next? Let's make some money.
Francesca calls Emilio Koyama, who's Jesse's old partner from the first ever episode of Breaking Bad. In case you don't remember, Emilio was busted by Hank and his team in the pilot episode, with Jesse managing to escape due to sleeping with one of the neighbors when the bust went down. Pun not intended. Walt witnessed this, which is what caused Walt to approach Jesse to cook in the first place. Emilio was also busted due to his cousin Crazy 8 ratting him out, since Crazy 8 was secretly a DEA informant, which we first saw come to fruition during Season 5 of Better Call Saul. Although Crazy 8 was remembered as Walt's first big kill in Breaking Bad, Emilio was actually Walt's first kill, as Emilio never woke up from being trapped in the RV with toxic gas, while Crazy 8 did wake up. Although this Emilio cameo is short and sweet, it's awesome to see, and it implies another cameo is right around the corner, Jesse. Now back before Season 6 of Better Call Saul, while we're still all predicting how Walt and Jesse may appear on the show, Jesse being affiliated with Emilio and Crazy 8 was always a huge theory. During Season 2 Episode 8 of Breaking Bad, while Jesse was telling Walt about Saul Goodman, he told Walt that Saul had represented Emilio multiple times and got him off scot-free.
Look, you remember Emilio? Okay, this dude got Emilio off like twice, okay? Both times, they had him dead to rights, yo, and then poof. Dude's like Houdini.
Due to this, it was always a hunch that we'd get to see Saul represent Emilio in one way, shape, or form, and that it'd lead to a Jesse cameo, which turned out to be about right, so it was really exciting and satisfying to see it come to fruition. I discussed multiple Jesse cameo theories involving Emilio and Crazy 8 during my huge Walt and Jesse cameo theories video that I did a few weeks before Season 6 started airing, which included like over 20 different Walt and Jesse theories. Anyways, as Kim leaves, she stops outside the door to have a smoke under the cover from the rain, and the camera pans over to see Jesse Pinkman leaning against the building. This reminds me of Walt's final scene with Skyler when the camera pans over to reveal him in the same way. I also love the foreshadowing of Kim and Jesse meeting earlier in the episode when Kim is in the Gene timeline and she's standing at the Albuquerque airport. We see the sign Alaska right beside her, foreshadowing how Kim was going to meet Jesse, due to Alaska being where Jesse ends up at the end of El Camino, which is where Jesse would be currently during this Gene timeline in 2010. Now this is the youngest we've ever chronologically seen Emilio or Jesse in the timeline. Well, aside from that one Breaking Bad flashback in Season 5 that showed Jesse creating the wooden box that he told his support group about because he was so proud of it, but then admitted to his support group that he sold it for drugs. Now the outfit that Jesse wears looks incredibly similar to the outfit that he wears in the second episode of Breaking Bad. Jesse approaches Kim asking for a smoke and she obliges. I love how the Better Call Saul crew has dressed Aaron Paul up in his cameos in such a way that it's not immediately obvious how much he's aged. Since Aaron Paul was much younger than Bryan Cranston when Breaking Bad started, Aaron Paul's aging is more predominant than Bryan's. In El Camino, this was fairly obvious considering how much bigger Aaron Paul's head was compared to in Breaking Bad. Aaron still looks great and he's aged well, don't get me wrong, but his larger head was slightly immersion breaking. In Better Call Saul, they remedied this by having him wear the ski mask in 611, along with wearing a beanie on his head during 612. The beanie, along with the Jesse Pinkman style clothes in 612, instantly immersed me during this episode. Not only that, but it was also great seeing Aaron Paul slip back into the Jesse character so seamlessly, giving all the classic Jesse Pinkman mannerisms. It's true that Jesse's voice was a bit deeper than I'm used to, but after like the first 10 seconds or so, I quickly got over that and was able to fully enjoy the cameo for what it was. Also, since so much happens in 612 plot-wise in regards to Kim and Gene/Saul, I was again able to enjoy the Jesse cameo for what it was instead of stressing over how it relates to the story or pushes the plot forward. Vince even admitted that this scene wasn't necessary in an interview, but that putting these characters characters together was something that he really wanted to do. After all these years, considering that this may be the last time Vince might write or direct for either of these characters, I'd say just let him give them the swan song that he wants. So Jesse starts making small talk in his own Jesse way, complaining about the rain, joking about how they're in a desert.
What's up with this shit? It's crazy. Like bananas, all this rain.
The rain was actually created with a rain machine and it looks good, although it may have been a bit too heavy for my liking. Apparently Aaron Paul got a headache from the rain machine but stuck it out like a trooper to finish the scene. We've rarely seen rain at all during Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad, and it fits real well into this scene considering the ominous undertone that it brings, being the last time that Kim ever saw Saul face to face. The rain also alludes to the name of the episode Waterworks being one of the title's many meanings, which I discussed during my 612 Easter eggs and hidden details video. Jesse then calls Kim out for being a lawyer, to which she stays silent since we know that she just recently resigned from the law at this point. Jesse says how he recognizes her due to her defending his friend Combo. As it turns out, Combo is one of Kim's pro bono clients, which happened off screen at some point during Better Call Saul.
You're a lawyer, right? I recognize you. You defended my buddy Combo.
Combo was Jesse's friend in Breaking Bad alongside Skinny Pete and Badger, but unlike Skinny and Badger, Combo never made it out of the show alive, as he was killed by a child named Tomas as part of an initiation into a gang that was working under Gus. Not only was Jesse upset over Combo's death, he was already upset as well over a gang using a kid to do their dirty work. On top of that, Jesse later found out that Tomas was his current girlfriend Andrea's 11-year-old brother. Jesse tries sparking Kim's memory about Combo by saying how she represented him in juvenile court due to Combo having stolen a baby Jesus from outside a church. Hank even mentioned this in passing during Breaking Bad Season 2 Episode 13, which was such a minor detail during that scene, so it's wild that the creators took that detail and spun it in a way where it turned out that Kim represented Combo for it.
Christian Ortega, aka Combo. He was a dipshit wannabe banger. Now, no arrests, save for stealing a baby Jesus from Knights of Columbus manger back when he was 17. This dude was so low rep, he never showed up on our radar.
Christian Ortega, juvie court, stole baby Jesus. Maybe not like a real baby, just one of those things outside of the church.
Nativity scene.
Yeah.
Knights of Columbus.
Jesse rants about how Combo stole it, saying how he didn't even know what Combo ever even wanted it for. Jesse even warned Combo that he could go to hell for stealing it from a church, but of course Combo never listened to him. Jesse then praises Kim for getting Combo off scot-free, which may be a reference to how Jesse told Walt in Breaking Bad that Saul got Emilio off. It also parallels Kim's work as a lawyer compared to Saul's, as Kim probably got Combo off the hook the proper way by following the law and being a genuinely good lawyer, while Saul most likely got Emilio off the hook by cutting corners and doing something nefarious. Kim tells Jesse to send Combo her regards, telling Jesse to tell Combo how she hopes that he's keeping his nose clean. Jesse appreciates the sentiment and agrees, saying absolutely, although that doesn't turn out to be true whatsoever. Combo literally doesn't keep his nose clean due to still being in drugs while we see him in Breaking Bad, along with metaphorically due to being killed from being a drug dealer. Jesse then asks Kim if Saul is the real deal, asking her for her opinion on him. Kim wonders why he's asking this, to which he says how Emilio is in for some serious time. He compares Emilio's charges to Combo, saying that he's not into baby Jesus time, but hard time. Jesse then says how he wanted Emilio to get some real top-shelf legal representation. This implies that Jesse thinks that Saul Goodman isn't, as Saul is sadly the type of lawyer that only guilty people hire, which is something that Saul's now embraced after being told exactly that by the Kettlemans in Season 1, which was an insult that really stuck with him as he brought it up to Kim during their huge argument near the end of Season 4.
You're the kind of lawyer guilty people hire.
You think I'm some kind of lowlife, some kind of asshole?
What?
Kind of lawyer guilty people hire, right?
Oh, Jimmy, that's
You
not...
look at me and you see Slippin' Jimmy.
I never said that.
Yeah, but you thought it.
Jesse says how Emilio watched Saul's commercials on TV, which is what made him want to go and see Saul, implying how effective Saul's commercials are to criminals, which are the exact demographic that Saul was aiming for. Jesse continues saying how he tried to convince Emilio that going to see Saul wasn't the type of solid legal representation that he needed by comparing Saul as a lawyer to a doctor with nothing credible other than a funny TV commercial. Kim stays silent, to which Jesse asks Kim if Saul is any good. It's interesting how Jesse does most of the talking here, while Kim mostly stays silent, only responding to Jesse with what she needs to. This is due to Jesse just trying to kill time after waiting for so long for Emilio to speak to Saul, which only took so long due to Saul stalling from seeing Kim, making her way to the point that Francesca called him, complaining how they had a waiting room full of clients and that it was getting late. Kim giving such short answers is also due to the heavy stuff that Kim just had to deal with in regards to signing divorce papers against Saul, along with the way that Saul treated her and belittled her while doing so.
Florida, Florida, Florida.
Why there?
I guess.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't have to make sense. Have a nice life, Kim.
This caused Kim to wonder whatever happened to the man that she loved, even though she herself is the answer. With Chuck gone, Howard gone, along with the legal community at the courthouse turning against Jimmy for interacting with criminals and the cartel, Kim was the last thing holding Jimmy back from saying screw it and becoming full-on Saul Goodman, as we saw at the end of episode 609. So when Jesse asks Kim if Saul's any good, even though there's a million things that she could say about him, all she says is how when she knew him, he was, implying that she doesn't know him anymore. It's true that Jimmy has changed, now fully embracing his Saul Goodman persona, but again, Kim herself was the final catalyst for the thing that pushed Jimmy over the edge into doing so. And I'm not saying it's entirely Kim's fault, since it's surprising that they even stayed together for as long as they did. I'm just pointing out how losing her was his final straw, as Kim was the last thing that connected him to his former life as Jimmy. It makes me wonder how things would have turned out if Chuck could have accepted Jimmy and helped him with his career, how different the outcome could have potentially been, but once again I digress, as that's a very deep topic for another video. The scene ends with Kim flicking her cigarette butt into the rain as she says that final line to Jesse, along with Jesse watching her run out into the rain to her car, since clearly she doesn't want to tell this random stranger how she truly feels about Saul. Even with that in mind, I love how Kim's short response to Jesse speaks volumes, and is in a way 1,000 words all wrapped up into just a few. It's also interesting the contrast of Jesse's opinion towards Saul in this current moment compared to what he thinks of Saul when he introduces Walt to him.
You know, he needs top shelf legal representation. And I tell him that, right? But, you know, he sees this dude's commercials on TV and this is where he wants to go.
How about we get him a real attorney? Man, what the hell is this? This is who he hires?
What? Are you kidding me? This is the guy you want. This is the guy I'd hire.
Oh, it's the guy you'd hire.
Here he doesn't want Emilio to be represented by Saul, but then when he introduces Walt to Saul, he says this is the guy that I'd hire because the way that he got Emilio off scot-free clearly changed his impression of him. Now on the Talking Saul show that aired after episode 612, Ray Seahorn said, Kim is at the end of her story while Jesse is at the beginning of his story. Now this is so true and it's why I love this scene so much. It makes me wonder if Kim could have warned Jesse about not going down the rabbit hole. I love how there's so much they could have talked about but didn't because they clearly had no reason to. Kim is someone who knew Saul very well as Jimmy during the past decade in Better Call Saul, while Jesse will come to know Saul very well during the events of Breaking Bad. It feels like they're two passing ships in the night, as the Breaking Bad Better Call Saul Venn diagram overlaps due to Saul Goodman being the common variable. Let me know what you thought of the Kim and Jesse scene down below. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today. If you're new to the channel, just haven't yet already, subscribe and hit that bell notification to stay updated on when I post new content on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Check out my Patreon or give a super thanks to help support the channel financially. But most importantly, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Seriously, when the going gets tough, you don't want a criminal lawyer, right? You want a criminal lawyer. Know what I'm saying?
I mean, what the hell did he even want that thing for? Huh? I mean, I still don't know. Dumbass.